Hey, what's up guys? It's Jazz and welcome back to my channel. I want to preface this by saying I literally have no idea what I'm doing. I've never done so much as write a book review on Goodreads or anything, so I literally don't know what I'm doing. Okay, that's not entirely true. I majored in English, so I do know how to critically evaluate literature, but I made no notes on this while I was reading because I didn't know I was gonna make this video. So, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out together. So the book we're talking about today is One Day in December by Josie Silver. Let's talk about why I picked up this book. In the summer, I read a different like love story kind of book that was set in the UK / written by a British author, and I really just loved the narrative voice. So when I saw that this is written by a British author, I was like, yes. Also, I had started a job at Indigo, which is Canada's like main bookstore chain, for those of you who don't know, and I hadn't read anything in a while that wasn't academic, so I was like, I need something to be able to recommend to people, so I picked this up. So the summary of the book, although it's narrated by two people, this is mostly the story about a girl named Lori who locks eyes with her soulmate at a bus stop one day in December. And like the start of all classic love stories, the bus drives away before she has a chance to do anything, leaving her feeling like she left a part of her heart and soul at that bus shelter, and she doesn't stop thinking about busboy for the entire year following until she is reunited with him and introduced to him as Jack, her best friend's new boyfriend. Spicy. If I'm looking over here, it's because all my notes are on my laptop, which are right here. So from there, the story follows Lori, Jack, and her friend Sarah over the next 10 years of their life, which is something I overlooked in the original description of the book. So that was shocking to me. I was like, wow, the plot is moving really fast. But yes, over the next 10 years, opening readers' eyes to the fact that life absolutely does not work out the way we anticipated or maybe hoped that it will, but instead exactly the way it was supposed to. Also, because of the decade-long time span, I wouldn't really call this a holiday book. It's fun to read during the holidays because it does come back to Christmas every year, and I feel like a lot of the main plot points are concentrated during the winter time. But it's not a Christmas book, so don't feel weird picking this up in like the summer. But yeah, basically, call it what you will. Fate, destiny, luck. This book is about that. Okay, so let's get into, I don't know, my analysis, my thoughts. I'm just warning you, from here on out, spoilers. I'm gonna be talking about the book because I read the book. I can't not talk without spoilers. I'm so sorry. Now, there are discussion questions in the back of the book. It was my original intention to discuss multiple of these, but school taught me to take one tiny detail and write 3,000 words on that tiny detail. I'm only going to be discussing one of the main questions. And then I'll bring up a few other little things throughout the book that I noticed. But feel free to talk about literally any aspect of the book in the comments below, because I will discuss, like I will respond. Okay, number 7 in the questions. How does Lori's relationship with Oscar compare to her relationship with Jack? Is it possible for her to love them both simultaneously? So, okay, if you read it, you know there's a huge push and pull between Jack and Oscar. They're the two main guys in the book. And I really wanted to talk about the dichotomy between them because you really couldn't get two more different men, and yet Lori does genuinely love Oscar, so I'll say she does love both of them, which is weird because they're super different. If I'm not mistaken, Jack is the first and only like relationship after Jack and aside from Jack for Lori in the entire novel, and I don't think that's a coincidence. Subconsciously, the entire point of Oscar's existence for Lori is to distract herself from Jack. I told myself to mention page 130. I don't know what's on page 130, but we will find out. Okay, I had planned to go home a few weeks ago, yet here I am still in Thailand, still with Oscar. Oscar, Oscar, Oscar. Who knew? I think we're both living in denial, completely unprepared and unwilling to return to the world, but to the world we belong to. But who's to say that you have to belong to somewhere forever anyway? Why do I have to belong to England when everything there is grey and confusing and difficult? Were it not for the people I love and my promise to Sarah, I'd stay here on this beach and have a dozen little babies, though not with a time monk. I think the cute like sentence there that I wanted to point out was, but who's to say that we have to belong to somewhere forever anyways? Because I think that's totally what she's feeling. She's like, by somewhere she means someone. Oh my gosh, there's a parallel there. And I think I bookmarked it too, but like not on purpose. Find it, please, please. Ah, here it is. This is Lori thinking to herself after Sarah like was telling her to move to Australia with her. And Lori's like, could I live here? I look at Sarah in her wide-brimmed red sun hat and glamorous sunglasses, blah, blah, blah. This place is beautiful, Sarah, but it's your place in the world, not mine. Where's yours? She says, because I'll tell you what I think. Your place isn't somewhere, it's someone. I'm here because it's where Luke is. You'd have gone to Brussels if Oscar was your place. I nod and she pushes her glasses up her nose. Okay, there's a parallel there that I just discovered. I'm like a little bit shook. Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, Jack is her place her person where she feels comfortable. And her person is obviously associated with a place, which is England. She gets as far away as she can from England to distract herself from England, from Jack. Sorry, that was not cute. And meets Oscar. Their meeting is literally framed in a setting that Lori chose to deliberately escape the pressure of life at home, to escape Jack. She was literally there to get away from Jack. And then poof, enter new boy, right? Like, as long as she was near Jack or anything or anyone that reminded her of him, she was gonna be comparing everything and anyone to Jack. It's like that one person you meet that like gets you in your feels in a certain, makes you feel a certain type of way, and then until you can meet someone who makes you feel equally as blah, but like in a different way, you're gonna be comparing, like that person is gonna be the standard, and Jack for her was her standard that she held everyone else up to, or at least was going to, and that's why, but like she knew it was impossible to be with him, so which is why she was like, Kate, gotta get away. Like, that is why Oscar and Jack are so different. I think she literally had to go for someone who's completely opposite than him. Our instinct is gonna be to hold everyone up to the standard that this one person like set for the rest of everyone else. Like, we learn what something is by associating it with how similar or how different it is to what we already know. I'm literally rehashing Meridian theory. It's sick. Where I'm going with this is that Oscar is the complete and total opposite of Jack. You can't compare apples to oranges. So like Oscar being so completely opposite from Jack, that's why she had to go for Oscar, because there's no way she was going to be able to compare him to Jack. And that's why she went for Oscar. I love that I'm stating it like a fact. Like, this is why I am the author, and this is why Lori went for Oscar. Did Lori really love Oscar? Yes, I think so, but mostly I think because it's hard not to love someone who loves you, and also like there's really no good reason to not love Oscar. Like, at that point in time anyways, there was no good reason not to love him. Similarly, none of the girls Jack dates throughout the novel are like Lori, because no one is like Lori. And from Jack's perspective, someone else like Lori in this world probably like doesn't exist. Like, I feel like that's just how he feels. And I think his like array of women who are vastly different from Lori was written in to represent that. He doesn't date anyone similar to Lori because he doesn't even try, because I think he just, in his head, he doesn't believe anyone else like Lori exists. While I do believe that Jack and Lori were meant for each other, I also believe that the reason they were so drawn to each other for so long was because they were both aware that they were attracted to each other. but they could not for the life of them find themselves in a position where they were able to get together, which always left the question of what if between them. And there's no like stronger question to motivate desire, like, oh, what if, like you know, like I said, like that one simple fact is we want what we can't have. And I feel like that's what kept them two drawn to each other for 10 years until they finally got together. Like, imagine how excruciating it is to know that there's mutual attraction and desire between you and someone else. Cute. But not being able to act on it. Does this negate the whole concept of fate and soulmates and love at first sight? No, I don't think so. Actually, I feel like it kind of propels it forward, especially in this case for Jack and Lori. Like, if Jack had gone through his drug problem, it was a drug problem, right? That sent him to rehab. If Jack had gone through that potentially while he was with Lori, say they got together right at the beginning, he went through his drug problem, maybe they wouldn't have made it through. Maybe the relationship at that point wouldn't have been strong enough to withstand that kind of obstacle. That situation of them not being able to be together but always longing for each other, I think that gave them the opportunity to learn the lessons that they needed to learn and to experience the things that they needed to experience in order to grow, and then so that when they did finally come together, they'd be stronger together. I think it just kind of propelled forward the entire fate situation. It's funny I say propelled because it took literally 10 years, but it's fine. Okay, so moving on to like, that was like my analysis, I guess. Moving on to like random like thoughts about the book and feelings. When it was time for Jack and Lori to finally be together, it felt like it was cute. I did enjoy it, but it also felt like a little bit rushed. Like we'd waited pages and pages and pages for this to happen, and then like boom, it was done. Like I feel like I just read it, maybe I just like flipped through so fast because I was like, oh my god, it's happening, it's happening. I don't know, it just felt like it happened so quick to me. Ugh, damn, I wanted that whirlwind moment to last just a little longer. Also, I hated how imperfectly perfect Oscar was. Like he has the stable job and he loves Lori and he says all the right things to her and provides her with like so much stability. But then like I'd read this heart-melting thing he would say to her, and then I'd put the book down and be like, Kate, so like why didn't my heart melt? Like, you know, it was just a weird, I don't know. In that case, I think Josie did a really good job of writing him. Like, he's perfect, but like me personally, like I was just like, something's off. I don't know, it was also frustrating because like at the time of reading this, I was kind of dating an Oscar, like, you know, like the good on paper, picture perfect kind of person, but like, you know, something's off. And because of that, part of me was selfishly rooting for them two to try and like overcome, I don't know, there was never like even an obstacle for them. Like, it just like didn't work. I don't know, I just like really wanted them to like see it through, and I wanted to see her like get over the cute blonde guy, and like I wanted to see it develop into something more genuine. And of course, like Lori and Oscar, that's not a thing anymore, but it's fine. If I'm closer to my Jack, then that's fine. I'm fine. Okay, moving on, separate section, bones to pick with the author. Honestly, not much, although I honestly don't think there are any people of color in this novel. And if there were, they were pretty irrelevant because I don't remember them. Not that this is a new problem, but like I just think it's worth noting. I get that the writer's gonna write about what they know and what they surround themselves with, what they're surrounded by, and it's hard to write a character of color when you're not of color yourself. But at the very least, for someone who is like totally swooning over the type of guy that Jack was, to see him go through like, oh, perfect bottle blonde after like perfect like news anchor Sarah after like another perfect blonde, I was just like, oh, okay. So he'd never be into me. Like, I don't know, you know? Anyways, final thoughts. As a current 20-something who is admittedly a little bit naively optimistic about love, this book wrecked me. Seeing these two people who are so obviously like made for each other keep missing the mark and missing the mark over and over again, like just physically totally not being able to be with each other. I was like, it was absolute torture. Okay. Although Lori does say one thing at the end of the book that like made me feel a little bit better. She was like to Jack, what do you think would have happened if, I gotta find the page. Do you ever wonder what might have happened if you just got on the bus? He half shrugs, laughing as he unwinds the tinsel from my hair. Boy sees girl, girl sees boy, boy gets on the bus, kisses girl's face off, and they live happily ever after. I laugh softly. It's a pretty dull story when you put it like that. We got there in the end, he says, pressing a kiss against my forehead. I hold him and he holds me, and for the first time in years, there's nothing missing at all. It would have been a pretty dull, what'd she say? It's a pretty dull story when you put it like that, so there we go. Like, I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason, even though like we might not understand what that reason is until we watch it unfold in hindsight. That didn't make this any less frustrating to read though, so you know. But like watching this story, this particular situation, made me more okay with the concept of that. This book had just a little bit of everything in there, from love to loss and heartbreak and friendship, and it was hard to put down above anything else. And will definitely satisfy the heart of a hopeless romantic. This is the first like non-academic piece that I've like read and talked about in literally years, so I don't know if I did justice by talking about it. Let me know if this got like too analytical, or like if it was hard to follow, or if you like want me to explain it in a different way. Please let me know, because I gotta get my shit together because I'm going back to school and I need to remember how to like properly articulate my thoughts. So let me know if this was easy to follow along with, or if you liked the format, blah blah blah. And yeah, that's everything. So like leave your thoughts and feelings and bones to pick and like discussion topics down below in the comments. Like, I totally want to reply and fangirl with you. It was such a good book and I loved reading it. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll be back soon, so stay tuned. Yeah, bye.